Welcome to the EQ Video Tip. I'm your host, Eric Forsetter. As always, thanks for watching another edition of the EQ Video Tip. Before we get in, let's review the goals of EQ Video Tip. What's on tap for today? We have a great article from Dina Smith who talks to us about how to make decision fatigue more bearable. And let's face it, we face hundreds, if not thousands, of decisions a day. From what should I eat for breakfast, or what shirt should I wear, or should I drive to the left versus take a right turn here? You name it, there are so many decisions that we make. And of course, as we get older, more responsibility, decisions become more important, and we have more of them on a day-to-day basis. What happens is that as your responsibility increases, so do the array and the complexity of the different decisions that you need to make. And that, of course, leads to a more mental tax on you and on what your decisions are in the first place. So how do we deal with it? Well, Dina's got some great ways to avoid this big ripple effect. Let's jump into some of her tips right now. Tip number one, make important decisions in the morning. Why? Well, your brain is fresher. You have more time to actually think about and be thoughtful for your decisions. You're not angry per se, or tired, or upset about something, or anxious. Instead, make a list of priority decisions that you're going to need to focus on, whether it's that day or next week, and focus on them in the morning, because that will have you focus all your attention right there. Have that priority list of the big decisions, not, hey, should I send an email or not, but hey, should I buy this new car or should I buy the old car? Things like that will help alleviate some of the decision fatigue. Tip number two, know when to trust yourself and when not to trust yourself, which is more important. Unlike physical fatigue, decision fatigue can be harder to spot. Maybe you're irritable, maybe you're weary from a long day of work. Whatever it might be, understand the telltale signs that cause you to make bad decisions. In doing so, hopefully you can sleep the night on it. But if you can't sleep the night on it, maybe eat something, give yourself a little energy, relax for a few minutes. That if you can have a little more energy or glucose in your system, it will give your body a little more self-control and decision quality if it's running low. Then you're able to trust yourself a bit more. So remember when you are able to trust yourself versus not trust yourself when making decisions. Tip number three, right size your energetic outlay. What do we mean by this? Well, before making a decision, decide on a scale of 1 to 10 how much impact this decision will have on your life or that of others. If it's pretty low, make the decision and go with it. Don't rehash it, don't rethink it. Could be as simple as, should I have pizza for lunch or should I have meatballs? Whatever it is, make that decision and go with it. On the larger ones, take your time to think about it, but understand if it's a 3 out of 10, that energetic outlay is not that important. Major life decisions, take your time, think through it. But again, right size your decisions and think about what the impact will be long term for you as well. Will this decision impact me in 10 days, 10 months, 10 years before you make that decision? Our next tip, let it go. What do we mean by that? Well, don't let go of every decision, but certain decisions, consider if you could give those decisions or outsource them or delegate them to someone else at work. For example, if you have a presentation coming up and you need to add graphics to it or art, maybe that's something that you can delegate to someone else, trust their decision, and not really worry about all this decision fatigue that's going to come from deciding which pictures are the best ones. If you can trust and share their perspective, it allows you to delegate more and take that mental load off of you. To be an effective leader, it requires great delegation and trust in your team and letting go of some of the responsibility that's out there. Remember to let it go. Our last tip, streamline. Because we go through so many decisions in a day, it causes fatigue. And the more we grow, the more we have more responsibility, the more decisions there are. So if you can streamline some decisions like, hey, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm going to eat pancakes for breakfast, or when I'm going to work out in a day, it's every afternoon at 4 p.m. or 7 at night. Whatever it is, make it easier for you. When someone presents you with a bunch of decisions to make and they give you 10 choices, ask them to narrow it down to 2 or 3 or their top for. But make life easier in terms of making those decisions. By streamlining, you're reducing the complexity of the decisions on a given day, and that will help you reduce decision fatigue. That's a wrap for this week's edition of the EQ video tip. Hopefully these tips will help you grow in terms of stopping decision fatigue or reducing your decision fatigue on a daily and weekly basis. Remember, use these tips, customize them to the best of your ability, and hopefully this will help you grow your EQ. So that concludes our EQ video tip for today. Try incorporating some of these tips into your daily routine. But remember, use what works best for you and personalize it for yourself. Thank you always to our great research team for providing us with some great tips today. As always on EQ video tip, we want to end with gratitude. So thank you for watching. We really appreciate it. Here are some resources that you can use if you want more information on EQ going forward. Thank you again, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Thank you.